Welcome back to Sunday Sports Social on your number one streaming high school sports connection. We are WRSCRadio.com, and it brings us great pleasure right now to welcome in our newest guest to the program, Cincinnati Bengals tight end Reggie Kelly. Reggie, how was your Christmas?
To see the happiness on my kids' face as they open up their gifts, and then the New Year's to celebrate it with my family again. It was great, man. I like to relax around the house and do much of nothing, and that's pretty much what I did.
All right, we're talking to Reggie Kelly here on Sunday Sports Social. And, Reggie, there has been speculation that during the season Marvin Lewis would not return as head coach. And then, of course, we heard about a week ago that he wasn't going to return as head coach. And then just a few days ago, we hear that he is coming back as head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Your reaction to that?
I definitely think it was a great decision by the Browns to bring him back. Coach Lewis has done so much for the team. He's done so much for the community. I think he's an asset to Cincinnati, and I think it was a wise decision for them to bring him back. And sure, we had a tough season last year, but that season pales in comparison to all the great things I think he's done in changing the culture of the Cincinnati Bengals. So we're glad to have him back.
Now, you guys, of course, won the division with a 10-6 record in 2009, but 2010 was real disappointing for the Cincinnati Bengals. You finished the season 4-12 overall. What do you think were the reasons for the struggles this season for your team, Reggie?
Well, it's hard to put our finger on it. We've been scratching our heads all year. I had to be honest with you, trying to figure out exactly what went wrong because pretty much we have the same team, the same coaches, but we also have a lot of upgrades. With certain players at certain positions. And so I know we practice extremely hard every week. We played extremely hard, and as a matter of fact, we was in every game that we played this year, but things just didn't quite pan out the way we wanted them to pan out. In the previous year, in 2009, we would win those close games at the end of the season, at the end of the games. But for some reason in 2010, we just didn't quite capitalize on things at the end of the game, and we just fell short on a number of occasions. But we're looking for bigger and better things in 2011, and we're expecting them as well.
Hey, Reggie, this is Mike Padgett here.
How you doing, Mike?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
I want to ask you, where do the Bengals go from here? There's been some rifts with Chad Ochocinco and Coach Marvin Lewis, if they can coexist or not. And Marvin Lewis came out and said Carson Palmer will be the quarterback next season. I'm wondering, do you think the Bengals can rebound and contend for a division title next season?
Sure. Definitely no doubt about that. It's always, things can always change from year to year. As we can all recall, in 2008, we started the season 0-8 that year. I think we only won maybe 4 games. In 2009, that there was not really much of, anticipation from the fans' point of view because we had such a bad year that year. But boom, lo and behold, 2009 we went to the playoffs. Like I said, this year has been somewhat of a disappointment, obviously, but we can always rebound. Just all you have to do is just continue to work hard, and then I believe that your breakthrough will come. Even though we had such a poor year this year, I can truly say that I'm still proud of the guys. For the simple fact is that they never stopped fighting. And I played on some losing teams before, and I know how it is, man. And when you know you don't have a chance of playing in the playoff, when you know that you're having a bad season, some guys pack it in early. Some guys stop playing hard, trying to make sure that they don't get injured and basically don't give all that they can give because of it having such a poor season. But that hasn't been the case. That wasn't the case with the 2010 team. Every game, every practice, the guys played hard. And for that to happen, that exemplifies character. And when you have that type of character on your team, when you have guys that have heart, eventually things will turn around because you have the right group of guys in the locker room.
Now, Reggie, you have become a fan favorite in Cincinnati over your 9 seasons with the team. When you first arrived with the Bengals, they were coming off of a 2-14 year. They hadn't had a winning season in God knows how long. Now, with that being said, when you signed with the Bengals, were there any other teams that were looking at you, and did you want to go to Cincinnati?
To be honest with you, I didn't want to come. I did not want to be a part of the Cincinnati Bengals, and you have to think about it. When I left the Falcons, in 2000 And three, the 2002 season, we had a great year. We was a playoff team. When I became a free agent in 03, I had really three teams that I really targeted, that I really wanted to go play for. The first team was the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, they had a great year. They were a great organization. They had Coach Tony Dungy as the head coach, and I've always wanted to play for him. And also I had the St. Louis Rams. They wanted to sign me. Well, they brought me in for a visit. Wanted me to be a part of their organization as well. And at that time, they was the greatest show on turf, so they were a great organization. And then also the Carolina Panthers wanted me to play for them as well. So another winning organization. So I had three quality teams, other than Atlanta, that wanted to sign me, to their football teams. And then my agent called and told me that the Bengals wanted to fly me in as well. And my first response was, man, I got three great teams over here that wants to sign me. Do you really think that I'm interested in playing for the Cincinnati Bengals? But he kind of persuaded me to go ahead on and take the trip to Cincinnati, because he thought that he just told me you never know what may happen, and it may be a great opportunity for you. I eventually took the trip to Cincinnati, and when I got there, Coach Lewis said something to me, and it pretty much sealed the deal. Pretty much made me know that Cincinnati was the place for me. He basically told me, he said, Reggie, we know what you can do on the field. We know what you bring to the table. But I also need a quality man like you who can come in and mold these young men and help guide them to be professionals on and off the field. Mold them to be men of integrity. And the funny thing about that was, a month before free agency even opened, a month before I knew where I'd be visiting, I said that same prayer that I prayed to God that wherever I go, that I can help mold guys and teach guys how to be professionals on and off the field and live with integrity. And so when he said that, I pretty much know that was the place for me.
Wow.
And now just looking back over things, to be quite honest with you, it would have been a big mistake on my part if I had not have signed with the Bengals. This is one of the best business decisions I could have ever made. And that's why I say without any doubt, without any stuttering, that one day I would like to retire as a Cincinnati Bengal.
Oh, Reggie, you've been commended time and time again for your class actions on and off the field. We know you're a leader and you earned your stripes in the NFL. You got your respect from all the players in the locker room. With that being said, you guys have a couple other young, good tight ends on the team, with Jermaine Gresham coming in and things like that. Are you a mentor to these guys in the locker room? Do you pass on your veteran experience to them? How do you help them adapt to the game of the NFL?
Yeah, you have to. I think, and I think as a veteran, if you're not doing that, then shame on you, because it's our duty to make this game better than the way that we found it. It's our duty, and it should be our goal to do so. And how do you do that? You do that by training the younger generation to be better than we are. You give them the same information that was once recycled to us when we were rookies. And so, yes, it is my job to be a leader. It is my job to mentor those guys, and I do exactly that. When I first came into the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons, I had guys like Bob Christian, Chuck Smith, Sean Jefferson, Terrence Mathis, guys like that who took me underneath their wings. I didn't ask them to, but they made a point to do it themselves, because that's what great leaders do. They policed me, so to speak, which meant basically they monitored everything that I did and made sure that I stayed on I guess walked on the straight line or on the straight and narrow. And they did that, not to try to haze me or not to try to belittle me, but to make sure that I was going to be nothing but success. And now I'm very thankful that those guys did that. But at the time when they were mentoring me and checking my every step, I didn't like it, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I didn't quite understand it, and to be honest, I didn't want to understand it. I just wanted to be a rookie out there just having fun and just flowing with anything and just going playing my heart out. But the funny thing about how they mentored me and how they groomed me up, even though I didn't like it at the time, even though I didn't want to do it, now I see myself today relaying some of the same information, teaching some of the same things to the younger generation that they once taught me. And it's amazing, and it's amazing that I'm now doing that, and it feels good to be in this role. And I know a lot of young guys like Jermaine and Chase that I mentor now, I police now. They may not want to hear it, but I'm hoping that maybe 5 to 10 years down the line after I retire, that I can come back and see them recycling that same information to a younger generation, so that the game can live on and so that players can play this game with integrity. And it's my job to do so. And I have two just talented young tight ends, in Gresham and in Chase. I can definitely say those guys will be Pro Bowls here for the Bengals for years and years and years. And they're going to do an extraordinary job for this organization. And I'm just pleased to say that I've been a part of playing with them, man.
Hey, man, we got to commend you for that. You're definitely a class act. We definitely appreciate all that, what you do for the Cincinnati Bengals, and definitely I'm sure those young kids appreciate that too. We're talking with Cincinnati Bengals tight end Reggie Kelly here on WRSC Radio. Be sure to check out his website, ReggieKelly82.com. Follow him on Twitter, @ReggieKelly82. And Reggie, we'll get into your book in just a minute, Prepared Body, Mind, Spirit, Using the Gridiron's Potential to Reach Your Limitless Potential. But before we do, you just talked about your days with the Atlanta Falcons, getting mentored by some of those guys. Talk about Michael Vick. You played with him. You had the chance to play with Mike Vick. How refreshing is it for you to see what he's doing this season?
It is. To be honest with you, it's quite refreshing. You know, when I was in Atlanta playing with Vick, he was more so of a quiet guy, kind of reserved. And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of surprised with the trouble that he got into. But you know, we all make mistakes. You know, none of us are perfect. And the thing that I want to commend Mike on, and the thing I'm so proud of him, is that even though, you know, he went through that tough phase in his life, he still bounced back, never stopped, and continued to fight. And now look what it's brought him. You know, he's a Pro Bowl player going into the postseason, and he's made a tremendous comeback. And I think that's the testament to his character. And that's a testament to him learning from his mistakes, getting back up, dusting himself off, and move on. I think that everybody can learn from that, man. Not just professional football players, but kids, grown-up people in corporate America, and so forth and so forth. You know, life doesn't end when you make mistakes. You can always rebound, but you got to have the right motivation. You got to have the right viewpoint, and you got to continue to fight regardless of the odds that are against you, and regardless of what people may say. And I'm pleased, man. I'm very pleased and happy to see him doing so well.